Once you learn of exactly how quickly certain stars crafted instant classics, how brilliant heels sneakily aided their rivals, and just how banged up certain wrestling legends were during some of their best ever work, you'll never be able to unsee the genius ways these names all confirm their undeniable GOAT status. So I am Gareth here from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 8 ways wrestlers secretly prove they were the GOAT. Number 8, The Undertaker and Terry Funk secretly buy Mick Foley some time after that Hell in a Cell fall. As Mick Foley lay completely broken on the mat in the wake of being unexpectedly dumped through the top of Hell in a Cell back at King of the Ring 1998, in the immediate aftermath of the dreadful fall, the folks taking in the shocking scene in the ring realized they needed to improvise so Foley could be checked on. Taker and Funk deciding to suddenly get into it was an entirely off-script occurrence. The two goats of the business knew they needed to buy their battered pal some time, so up Funk went for the mother of all chokeslams, with the pair of sneakers left behind by this painful piece of improv being one of the first things Foley actually remembers seeing post-fall. It may have only been a few additional seconds these legends bought by adding in another unplanned bump on the spot, but it was just enough time for Foley to regain his bearings before he opted to crazily continue wrestling for a further 10 minutes. Number 7, Brock Lesnar secretly helps Drew McIntyre get over. While the word helpful may not be the first one that springs to mind when the name Brock Lesnar drops into your average conversation, there have actually been a number of occasions over the years when this beast of a goat has secretly gone out of his way to elevate his colleagues. Lesnar also once chucked out a fantastic order to his then on-screen rival Drew McIntyre back when the pair were getting ready to lock horns at WrestleMania 36. With the former UFC heavyweight champion being laid out by the passionate Scotsman, Drew understandably got a little lost in the electric moment as the March 2nd, 2020 Raw crowd went wild. Lesnar could actually just about be heard telling his WWE Championship challenger to grab the belt after knocking him on his ass. Stay-wise, Lesnar clearly wanted to do all he could to make the man who would ultimately dethrone him look as badass as possible before their incoming collision. Number 6, Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho put together a WrestleMania classic in 10 minutes. When two goats join forces to create pay-per-view magic, sometimes all you need is a quick chat beforehand. And that was surprisingly the case when it came to Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho's WrestleMania 19 showstopper, with the latter actually randomly figuring out how the beginning of their clash should go while shopping for a Speedo a week before the event. When Y2J sat down to chat with HBK about how the match should go on the Thursday before the Sunday show, he found out that Michaels had an idea for the conclusion too. Both happily accepted the other man's concept and were waving goodbye to one another just 10 minutes later. And if that wasn't enough of a reason to class these masters as two of the all-time greats, then Michaels telling an idiotic Johnny Ace he can shout at him for going 4 minutes over their allotted time when he'd had a 5-star match certainly was. Now I want to know, what's your favourite WrestleMania match ever? You let me know in that comment thing right down below this video. Number 5, Bret Hart carries the British Bulldog in Wembley. With his adversary on the night and brother-in-law Davey Boy Smith being high as a kite on crack, Bret did all he could to make sure the British Bulldog understood how the match would play out during their rehearsals the day before. Sadly though, just a few minutes into their Intercontinental Championship main event, an out-of-breath Smith revealed to the champ that he had no idea what was coming next. What came next was an absolute masterclass from the ring general, as Hart called most of his rival's spots, told him what facial expressions he needed to pull at points, and sold his ass off for the hometown hero. Unsurprisingly, Hart feels this incredible carry job was his greatest ever match, with the Hitman proving for 25 stunning minutes why he really was the best there is, and you know the rest. Number 4, Kevin Owens helped Stone Cold Steve Austin roll back the years. The modern great that is Kevin Owens certainly played a crucial part in making Stone Cold Steve Austin look like he hadn't missed a step by bumping like a madman on the night of WrestleMania 38, Night 1. Also, after not being involved in a proper match since WrestleMania 19, the Texas Rattlesnake was understandably admittedly a little rusty inside of AT&T Stadium. In fact, there was actually a few times during their blockbuster main event when Austin accidentally connected with some seriously stiff punches. But in a move that shows you just how respectful and great the former Universal Champion really is, Austin would later reveal on the Out of Character podcast that Owens didn't throw a single receipt his way after being legitimately battered at various points in their epic battle. He just took the damage that made folks feel like they'd step back into the late 90s like the classy goat he is. And in another interesting note, remember the baddest SOB in WWE history regularly taking a second to swig one of his delicious Broken Skull IPAs during the contest? That wasn't Austin subtly advertising his own product, it was just the nervous icon's secret way of giving himself a breather mid-main event. Number 3, FTR and Bullet Club Gold called most of their 58-minute Collision Classic in the ring. FTR and Bullet Club Gold's Collision Classic instantly became yet another reminder of exactly why the former team in particular are classed by many as one of the real tag team goats. But there's actually another little detail that makes this already impressive showing from both squads even more extraordinary. Very little was planned out before the match officially got started in Calgary. Due to the fact Juice Robinson could only get to the arena at 2 PM before the show's 6 PM start time, and FTR had to shoot some other stuff before the event, the teams involved didn't actually have time to properly figure out everything they were gonna do in the recent masterpiece before the bell rang. It was even noted that the superb units didn't feel prepared to go an hour on the night. We've all been there. However, that still couldn't stop the secretly unready Jay White, Juice Robinson, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler from proving to the world precisely why they're 4 of the very best bumping and working in the business today. Number 2, Kenny Omega became the belt collector while suffering from vertigo and more. Kenny Omega had already established himself as one of the world's very best, but by the time his belt collector run came to an end, many were quite rightly saluting the cleaner as one of the greatest of all time. It would eventually be revealed that the mighty Omega was actually privately dealing with a frightening amount of injuries during this world-class spell. By the time he worked Paige in their Full Gear 2021 Classic, the then AEW World Champion's shoulders were so destroyed, he couldn't lift heavy weights. He was also dealing with knee problems, a hernia, and had been suffering from vertigo since as far back as 2018 too. Hell, the Elite Star even went as far to admit that he had learned how to wrestle in a spinning ring when he suddenly got dizzy mid-match. So in hindsight, the fact Omega was still somehow able to produce the sort of mesmerizing 5-star performances he did during that unquestionably painful reign is about as astonishing as it gets. Number 1, Bryan Danielson uses smoke and mirrors to protect his broken right arm. In what was the American Dragon's first in-ring display since injuring his arm against Kazuchika Okada in the main event of this year's Forbidden Door, Danielson went to war with Ricky Starks in a strap match at All Out 2023. But what you probably didn't catch during this 5-star hard-hitting bloodbath was the fact that this clever Danielson sneakily never once used his right arm to throw a strike at his enemy, claiming that a lot of smoke and mirrors were used to ensure he wasn't in any danger in this savage fight between 2 of the very best AEW currently have to offer. A still not fully cleared Danielson more than pulled his own weight in the wonderfully violent clash, pulverizing Starks with nasty kicks, strap shots and chokes, as he masterfully disguised the fact Ricky the Dragon Steamboat remarkably threw more right-handed bombs than him on the night. And that's our list. Know of any other ways wrestlers secretly prove they were the GOAT? Drop them in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, share and click on that subscribe button while you are down there. Also, if you love this sort of goated stuff, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more fantastic articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Cheers for watching this video right here today. Now go and kick all the ass and keep being the GOAT that you certainly are, my friends. Bye bye!